Most guys think attracting women is about being taller, richer, or more ripped. Then they watch some girl choose a guy who's average in every way, and their entire worldview collapses. You want to know what that guy has? He understands something most men completely miss. Women don't fall for your resume. They fall for how you make them feel. And if you've been trying to impress your way into attraction, you've already lost. Here's what nobody tells you. A 2025 survey of 2,000 single adults revealed that women rank honesty and trustworthiness as their number one priority in a partner. Physical attraction came in sixth. Sixth. Let that sink in for a second. You've been obsessing over the gym and your jawline while she's been evaluating whether you're actually trustworthy. The dating landscape has shifted dramatically, and most guys are still playing by rules from a decade ago. Research shows first impressions form within a few hundred milliseconds. Your appearance matters for that initial split second. But here's where it gets interesting. Attraction isn't built in milliseconds. It's built in the minutes and hours that follow, through vocal tone, body language, and how you carry yourself in conversation. You can win the first 3 seconds and lose the next 3 minutes if you don't understand what actually creates lasting attraction. Let me hit you with something that'll probably surprise you. A December 2025 psychology study found that willingness to protect someone significantly increased attractiveness ratings. But here's the twist. Physical strength had almost no independent effect once willingness was factored in. Women found men who tried to protect, but failed just as attractive as men who succeeded. The penalty for being unwilling to protect? Nearly 3 times more severe for romantic partners than for friends. Translation, she's not measuring your biceps. She's measuring your intent. Now you're probably thinking this sounds like generic advice. Be protective, be honest. Great. But there's a specific framework to this that most guys never learn, and it separates men who naturally attract women from men who constantly struggle. Status matters, but not how you think. Research from November 2025 identified 2 paths to status: prestige, which comes from competence, generosity, and earned respect, and dominance, which comes through force and intimidation. Women seeking long-term relationships are systematically attracted to prestige and turned off by dominance. But guys seeking short-term attention keep pushing dominance because it sometimes works in the moment. Then they wonder why nothing lasts. You don't need to be the loudest guy in the room. You need to be the most grounded. A study analyzing 148 couples found kindness was the most important trait in a partner for both men and women. 10 additional studies with over 4,000 participants showed that pro-social behavior made people appear more physically attractive. Read that again. Being kind literally made men look better looking to women. Your personality is affecting her perception of your face. But kindness alone isn't enough. And this is where most nice guys crash and burn. You can't be kind and spineless. You can't be agreeable and directionless. Women are attracted to men who know what they want and move toward it with quiet confidence. The research is clear on this. Neediness ranks as one of the most unattractive qualities a man can display. So what does effortless attraction actually look like in practice? It starts with understanding that you're not trying to get her to like you. You're evaluating whether she fits into your life. That shift in perspective changes everything about how you show up. When you approach interactions focused on getting approval, you create a barrier to authentic connection. Even if it works short term, you'll end up disappointed because you weren't being real. The framework has 3 core elements: confidence without arrogance, kindness without weakness, independence without detachment. Master those 3 and attraction stops being something you chase. But most guys get at least one of them completely wrong, and that single mistake sabotages everything else they're doing right. Let's break down what getting it wrong actually looks like. Confidence without arrogance means you're secure but not superior. You hold your ground in conversation without making her feel small. You disagree without disrespecting. Most guys lean too far one direction. Either they're arrogant and dismissive, or they're so afraid of seeming cocky that they become apologetic for existing. Women can sense both extremes instantly. Here's a practical example. She says something you don't agree with. The arrogant response dismisses her perspective entirely. The insecure response pretends to agree when you clearly don't. The confident response acknowledges her point and presents yours without needing her validation. You're not performing, you're just being honest. That honesty signals you're comfortable enough in yourself to have different opinions without feeling threatened. Kindness without weakness is where nice guys systematically fail. They confuse being accommodating with being attractive. Research shows women want dependable men who follow through on commitments and show up consistently. But dependability doesn't mean availability at all times. It means when you say you'll do something, you do it. When you set a boundary, you maintain it. You're kind in your interactions, but firm in your standards. The difference shows up in how you handle disrespect or flakiness. A weak response excuses bad behavior because you're afraid of losing her attention. A kind but strong response addresses it directly without hostility. If she cancels last minute repeatedly, you don't explode or guilt trip. You just communicate that your time matters and adjust accordingly. Women respect that because it shows self-respect, and you can't attract someone who doesn't respect you. Independence without detachment is the final piece. Women are drawn to men with lives that don't revolve around them. Your hobbies, your goals, your friendships. These things existed before her and continue during her. That's attractive because it signals you're not looking for someone to complete you. You're inviting her into something already whole. But independence becomes detachment when you're so focused on maintaining space that you can't be present. Emotional intelligence matters here. Women value men who can express themselves openly and listen without immediately trying to fix everything. You're engaged in her world without losing yourself in it. That balance creates safety, and safety creates attraction that lasts beyond the initial spark. This is what the research on communication keeps pointing toward. Women prioritize emotional connection through conversation, not surface-level small talk. Real exchange where both people feel heard and understood. If every interaction feels like you're either performing or waiting for your turn to talk, she'll sense the disconnect. Authenticity beats perfection every time. A 2025 survey of 2,000 single adults confirmed people are craving genuine connection over polished personas. Women would rather see your actual personality, quirks included, than some carefully constructed version you think they want. Self-awareness is magnetic because it shows you're comfortable with who you are, flaws and all. So what does this look like when you put it all together? You approach interactions without the weight of needing approval. You're genuinely curious about whether she fits your life, not just hoping she accepts you into hers. You communicate clearly and listen actively. You maintain your own direction while being present in the moment. You're kind but boundaried, confident but humble, independent but emotionally available. That's the framework. Not tactics or tricks, just becoming the kind of man women naturally want to be around. The kind who doesn't need to chase because his presence alone creates the pull. Women notice men who are emotionally mature and self-aware, even when those men don't realize they're displaying those qualities. Stop trying to attract her and start being attractive. There's a massive difference, and she can tell which one you're doing from the first 5 minutes. Looking back at everything we just covered, you're probably realizing you've been focused on the wrong things. The height, the money, the status symbols. None of that creates the magnetic pull women actually respond to. What creates it is being grounded enough to show up as yourself, strong enough to maintain standards, and secure enough to let her world exist alongside yours without needing to control it. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about stripping away the performance and letting your actual character do the work. Women are evaluating trustworthiness, emotional stability, and whether you have direction in life. They're watching how you treat strangers, how you handle disagreement, whether your actions match your words. That's what builds real attraction. So stop chasing approval and start living like someone worth choosing. The moment you shift from needing her validation to simply offering your authentic presence, everything changes. Because effortless attraction isn't about what you do. It's about who you are when nobody's watching, and whether that version of you is someone even you would respect.